What's up, family? Entrepreneur family. This is Lamar Smith.
Kevin Buckner.
Calvin Snowden.
Phil Stewart.
And today we have a special guest here today talking about marketing your business. It's Mr. Marlowe Smith. And don't get twisted, we're not twins, okay? Everybody thinks that we are, but you know, so.
Both handsome, but not twins.
Exactly. So Marlo, thank you for coming out and taking your time out to educate us and everyone out there about the importance of marketing. And so we want to let everybody know, give us a little background about yourself.
Sure.
And how you got started in marketing.
Absolutely. I'm gonna go all the way back to when I had paper route, but I started out with my corporate jobs. I worked in the petroleum industry for the majority of my career. About 14 of my 22 years of corporate America. Switched out from petroleum and now I'm doing the energy sector. So doing marketing there, and I enjoy it. It's great. It's a place where you can do some good work, make some money, and also do a lot of good with the community as well. So that's some of the things I'm passionate about, and I'm happy to talk a little bit about marketing and your business today.
Excellent. Cool. So tell us about you have a business. Tell everybody about the business and the marketing aspect of that.
Absolutely. I have a real estate business. One of the things I know from growing up as a kid, everyone needs a place to live. You need food. You need something that you can call your own. So looking into real estate obviously is a great investment. It's something that I know that most smart business people invest in personally, also from a professional standpoint as well. And for me, it's a really good investment. I've had a chance to have really good folks involved that I've been able to provide housing to, and also had a good beneficial relationship, mutually beneficial relationship. And that's the key to me. It's just treating people the way that I would want to be treated if I was a renter. So I always try to think about that when I'm marketing the business. Is getting people in, obviously folks that have qualifying credit scores, folks that are responsible, they're going to be able to take care of the property, treat it like it's their own, even though they're just renting.
I have a question for you. How did you find your tenant? Did you market online, or did you market word of mouth, or what?
Yeah, I did a couple things online. This is the location where I am. I actually tried to market up close by. There's a military base, so that was one of the things I was looking at. Trying to get someone that's potentially in the military family, because one of the main benefits is that the military doesn't play. If the person's late on their rent, they'll actually dock their pay, and they'll actually pay. So that's definitely something to consider if you are close by near a military installation. Look into that. Obviously, online that's big, it's huge. If you don't have that presence in 2018, you're not anywhere.
Absolutely.
And then also too, if you're looking for renters too, you can also look for realtors. Realtors, they also have an opportunity to find some good potential candidates. The same criteria they're looking for someone to purchase a home are similar to what they're looking for someone to be able to actually rent. So that's another option as well.
It's funny you mentioned that. We were working with a realtor not too long ago, and she mentioned that you also have residents around hospitals and Abington, or close to where we are, there are doctors that do residency there. They need a place to stay.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot of people come through that do that as well. That was interesting to me as well. It's something I never thought about. Wow, they need housing too. Everybody needs some place to be. So that's awesome.
One of the other things I found out through this business was also that there's people that have insurance claims that also need places to stay temporarily. So I know in the area that I live in, there's plenty of houses there, and some of them aren't like astronomically
Yeah.
priced.
Yeah.
And if that would be a great investment to buy it, and then you develop that relationship with the insurance company.
Right.
Anytime there's a claim, so if someone has
Gotcha.
water damage, fire damage, whatever, they don't want to move out of their neighborhood. They still want the kids to go to the same school.
Sure.
Wow.
They can move into there
Yeah.
for a period of time, and you're getting paid from the
Nice.
insurance company, not even from the renters themselves.
So it's kind of like almost like a corporate housing situation in a way.
Absolutely.
Except for, a person had some type of accident or
Right.
abandoned their house.
Some sort of unfortunate
Gotcha.
event.
Yeah. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
What are some of the things, just talking about this, what are the things you see from a marketing standpoint that have tied together with your current business and what you did in the petroleum industry? Like, what are some of those things?
Yeah, well, one of the keys with any business is knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be educated about what it is that you're trying to do.
Absolutely.
You got to know the market potential. So you got to do your research.
Sure.
Everyone's got a cell phone, they've got a tablet, they got a laptop. They have some sort of device where they can actually go and get some information. I think that's the key. First and foremost is just being educated, not just about the industry per se. So many things are like kind of tied in together. Some people don't like politics. They don't like news, things like that. But honestly, those are the ways where people actually get information to understand like what's coming next.
Sure.
So, you see even recently around here, there's things like the soda tax.
Yeah,
Right?
sure.
So that's affecting people
People
on
in the
one
city.
side of,
Yeah.
of the city line
Yeah.
as opposed to the other. So, that's going to
So come to suburbs and get your soda.
and that's what a lot of people choose to do if they have the ability to do so. So things like that, they're all intertwined, and if you're not up and you're not understanding how those changes in policies are affecting the marketplace in general, you're going to be left behind. That all goes back to from the question that you asked me, Kev. How do you how do I take my business and what I learned from there, and also use that from my day to day, like my corporate job. And the things that I've seen are pretty synonymous. You've got to understand at the end of the day what it is that you want to do, what it is that you want to accomplish. Communication, effective communication is really the key.
Right.
And that's with advertising, with marketing, with branding. You've got to be succinct. You've got to be very direct. And in most cases, you have to leave something that's memorable.
Sure.
And a lot of times, I think some companies do a better job than others of actually accomplishing that goal. So when you're going about, thinking about your marketing, you have to understand what it is you're trying to convey, and you got to be succinct, and you got to be very short, but also memorable.
Gotcha.
All right. I think so. Some of the things that we talk about a lot is with a lot of entrepreneurs, they're very good at their specific task or craft, right?
Yes.
So one of the things that we hope to help by having guests and talking is how we can help businesses grow and build themselves. So one of the questions that we have for you is like, what should they consider with the marketing and even with branding? From how do you design your business card, coming up with your company logo and colors, or slogans and different things that it may be second nature to you. The average person doesn't, or average entrepreneur doesn't even think about.
Right. Yeah. So I think that there's a lot there, but I think that I'll take a piece by piece.
A 12-part question.
Take it one at a time.
So first of all, I would say anytime you're trying to brand something,
Right.
you said, whether it be your business, whether it be yourself,
Right.
you've got to be aspirational, because when you're starting a business, you're not there yet. You're looking in a direction, you're trying to get there,
Right.
but you're not exactly where you want to be on day one. So therefore, you gotta make sure that whatever you're looking at, like you said, if you're deficient in maybe a certain skill set, maybe you're not as strong a communicator, maybe talking to a large group gives you some pause. You got to go out and do those things. It's just like this time of year, people trying to get in shape. They're trying to get the flab off. They're trying to get themselves more attractive. That requires hard work. You got to do the physical hard work. Same thing with communicating. You got to get out in front of people. You've got to build your message. You got to make sure that everything is tied in. So that's one of the other things about branding and marketing that's so important. is that you can't present yourself one way on your website or on your app or your logo and be something completely different in person. It's all got to be consistent. It's all got to be of the same mindset, and it's got to be very succinct. That's the key. So many people, today, I'm surprised that Vine went away because Vine had the 7-second, little clips, and for the generation that's coming up, that's about their attention span. They'll watch something for 7 seconds, then they're on to the next thing. So you got to be quick with it. You got to be very, very memorable, and like I said, the ways to do that, you got to be impactful. You got to hit people where your target audience is.
Sure. Well, it's funny. You look around and you see people, entrepreneurs. The common mistake I see is that they don't talk about their business. When they get with people, don't have the cards, I'm like, if you talk to me, well, first of all, I'm always wearing my shirt. But number two, that's all I talk about. And if you can't market yourself, or if you don't have the confidence in yourself, people aren't going to refer you or look to do. So it's one of those things. I think you have to get comfortable, right, with talking about yourself.
Absolutely.
Or talking about what you're doing, because I think we tend to be more modest and versus being open. Like, I'm sure you don't run around all the time talking about, I got an ice cream spot, where you have to get there where, you see somebody eating Baskin Robbins, yo, what's up, man? Run up the street. I got dreams. Our product is 10 times better.
Exactly. I agree with you. Yesterday, I went to a networking event near where I live, and there were at least 100 vendors there at the gymnasium there. And I walked around just, meeting the different people, seeing what they're doing. A lot of them didn't have cards. A lot of them didn't have a website. All they had was social media. Some of their displays were poor, or very, very limited. With limited product, nothing to hand out to the customer. No slogan, no logo to speak of. Maybe just a sign and some cupcakes. It's like,
so they were bakers. Exactly, that's my point.
You never could tell what they were doing.
Yeah, but to your point, Phil, these entrepreneurs a lot of times are very, very narrow-minded in what they believe that they need to project. And at the end of the day, listen, this is a capitalistic society, so we're all trying to make our own way in the world, and the way you do that is you get the most people out there. If you're 25, you're not just going to talk to people in your same age range. You're going to try to get money from people that's 35, that's 45, 55, 65, 85. You're not going to just limit yourself to the
making
people
some money from people like 10.
Exactly.
And
that's what you have to do. You have to be very, very wide in your scope, but you have to have a targeted message. So you may market to a millennial differently than you would to a Gen Xer.
Absolutely.
So with your millennial, you're probably going to be almost all social media. Whereas when you get up to the Gen X, social media absolutely, but maybe you do some more traditional forms of communication, whether it's flyers or something in the newspaper, television, radio. As you get older, those folks grew up with newspapers. That's how they got their information. So that's going to be their first go-to source of getting information. So if you're trying to reach that group, you're going to have to put your advertisements, you have to put your marketing out there for that group to see it. Because it doesn't make sense to have something completely digital. And this goes back to knowing your demographics, right? So if you're looking at the city of Philadelphia, majority of the city are older people, 55 plus. So if that's your target area, your target market, know that. That's an important factor. So if you're putting everything on social media, those 55 plus, listen, I know my parents, they're not on there. Our parents that are, but that's just not the family that we have. So just knowing that and understanding that will help you drive your messaging toward the groups that you want to target.
Just a quick question, because you threw that out there. Where do you recommend them finding such data like that?
Oh yes, from the very beginning, when I talk about education, understanding, do your research, man. Everybody can Google.
Yeah.
You know, you can find out. You know, again, things like the stats, like what's the age ranges of the folks in your general area. You know, if you're looking at targeting a specific industry or a specific type of business, understand who the customers are of that, and then have your marketing targeted towards those folks.
Gotcha. Would you recommend them also do like what I've done in the past, kind of like a brainstorm in the sense of I figure out, well, what am I trying to sell, or what are my services, and then try to figure out, well, who wants my services or who would like my services.
Yes.
And then, you know, it's kind of like a circle, and then a bigger circle, broader circle. And then say, okay, well, what are the other industries that are adjacent to me that I may want to sell in?
Absolutely.
And then maybe go out, because I think some of the viewers too, including myself when I first started, was like, okay, well, where should I start? I mean, I know how to Google, I know how to do all these things, but I just got to figure out, like, what's my base product first, right? And then kind of balloon out from there and say, oh, okay, so this is now, you know, tied to peanut butter. Like, you know, I'm just making it up, but it's like, oh, how did you get from interior design to peanut butter? But there's something happening in, you know, in the world today that ultimately affects my business.
Right.
So, like, I'm trying to figure out how I do that. So brainstorming is one of those things with kind of like a tracing back from my product out to as far as I can go, and then try to research from there. I don't know if you've done similar things.
Yeah, you know, one of the things I know you mentioned that you were at a networking group. I mean, those things are fantastic. You know, we're all like working, you know, professionals. We all know a bunch of people in different organizations, whether it be like, you know, fraternities or business organizations or community-based organizations. Those folks use those networks. You know, those are the people that you know. They know you. They know the kind of person you are. They know the kind of work you do. They'll be more comfortable with you. Utilize those networks. Those are there. That's what it's there for. So when you get in front of them at that particular organization, you talk to those folks about your business. You talk to them about your business, your business. And now they, oh, wait a minute, I didn't know he did that too. And now they're like, wait a minute, this is somebody I can, next time I need something like that, I can refer you, or me, when it comes down to, you know, doing things like that. And people like to do business with people they know, and people that they're comfortable with, and people that they
someone
know
got recommended, or
exactly.
Absolutely. Now we were talking about, you know, you mentioned, you know, kind of marketing as Facebook online, right? You didn't mention Facebook specifically, but Facebook's another like social media, and, you know, Instagram. Are there other like low cost tools that they can do for marketing? So let's say I'm a company, I don't have a big budget, I can't go out and hire a marketing team. I can't afford Marlowe Smith, but maybe, you know,
maybe.
Are there other little tools? That's right. Put on layaway. I can rent layaway. Don't mess with layaway.
Don't mess with layaway.
What's coming back
early?
They wait till I smile on people's faces.
However, I don't lay away any project. No layaway projects for me. You gotta be able to lay away some ice cream and some website and some interior design. The BDFS group, no layaway.
Are there apps out there that you're aware of, Mars, that we could use that are really around marketing?
And you know, again, I think that goes back to knowing your group. So you know, having I do a lot of mentoring, so I'm around a lot of young folks, and that's something I'm passionate about. And that's also one of the things too. I think that you can kind of do to help build your business is you can partner like whatever your interest is along with your business. So let me give you a perfect example. Like I know Subaru, right? They're you know, great car company. One of the things they do is they market to people who have interest in things like the environment. Or people have pets. They're big on that. And people who are, you know, passionate about the environment or pet lovers, man, they will go and buy Subaru. They're not considering any other car. They're going to be straight with that. So
like co-branding in a way.
Co-branding. You know, because again, it kind of gives you that halo. It's like, oh man, not only are they in business, but they're also doing good. And people like to support companies that do good.
Okay, so what you're saying is ultimately get with a social cause or that you might
that
like
you're passionate about. Not just something.
Something passionate about that you actually believe it.
That you actually believe it.
Not just going to do it for a month and then kind of like, oh, got what I wanted, I'm moving on. But it's like something you're passionate about, try to co-brand with them and get it out there, and that will give you kind of a dual, dual aspect, right?
That's
so
another low-cost way of marketing.
Gotcha.
And Kevin, interesting enough, yesterday I was on the SBA website,
Okay.
and they have a whole section of courses you can watch online that are about 30 minutes. They had a whole section on how to do market analysis, marketing, social media marketing. So there are free tools out there that, I'll be honest, I didn't even know were there. And just going around where the SBA has multiple tools there. And you can find the link on our website. I'm actually send some stuff out today. But it's different things out there to help you. Because I think a lot of times people kind of go, well, I don't need to worry about marketing. But it's actually probably in the top 2 or 3 things you need in business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone said to me at a business networking function that I went to, if you're in business but nobody knows about it, you're not in business.
Exactly.
Exactly. Club.
That's in the club. That's a great point. I mean, look, I always used to say, and I said in one of the videos, I always wanted to be rich but not famous. But reality situation, if you own a business, you got to get out in front. Like you can't be behind. YouTube said it best, right? Broadcast yourself, because it's like you have to get out there, right? And you'd be surprised just getting out there, the people you meet. And all of a sudden, there's a business, or not say a business, but a client or someone's there.
Right.
So you got to get out there. You got to meet people. Me and Kyle were at another one of our friends, Felicia from Urban Aesthetics. Shout out. She was doing some marketing yesterday as well, and it was great. We met some great people there. Right. So it's got to get out there. And originally, I didn't want to go. So oh my god. But when I got there, I was like, oh, okay, this is cool, right? Met some good people. Got some people that can help me with some of the jobs we're working on, and potential some clients.
Right.
So and those are the things. So I'm saying, using those networks, because like I said, you never know who can be a potential client that you may not even know about or even be aware of before you actually put yourself out.
Oh, absolutely.
That's a great point.
And most of life is about taking advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's so many people that would rather sit home, watch TV, twiddle their thumbs, eat some nachos, whatever, as opposed to going out and building
nachos.
Listen, I like nachos.
You can go out and build around some nachos.
Absolutely, you can brand off that.
I agree.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I think too that a lot of what people don't talk about, even with marketing. I was listening to one of my mentors on the CD before I came in, and he was just talking about, he made a joke about Craigslist, marketing the property. And, back in the day, he was in real estate. His name Ron LeGrand, plug. Anyway, he pretty much was just saying, like, you can put a property on Craigslist. You find a lot of inventory on Craigslist. Yeah. And he said, you can market on Craigslist. Sure. And he's asking people in the seminar, like, well, how much does it cost to market on Craigslist? It's zero. How many people can afford zero? You know what I mean? Like, and it's funny they say that, but it's true. You know what I mean?
Sure, no.
And that, and YouTube, and say, of course, Facebook do have ads that you can pay for, but at low cost and different things of that nature. So there is a wide expansion of as far as your marketing base.
Absolutely. Look, I totally agree. I would just say be careful on Craigslist. You never know who's going to show up.
So,
it's funny with your marketing.
It's funny you bring that up because I used to market my apartments on Craigslist. After all that stuff happened, I got zero contact from Craigslist. And the other thing that happened with Craigslist, there were a lot of scammers.
Yes.
And then
that's
people stepped away from using the
That's
Craigslist.
True.
So it's funny how a tool's great today, but bad later. Right. It's kind of funny.
Right.
I know we had some discussion about Toys R Us and the other thing, but it's constantly watching these things. Yeah.
What about budget? How do you set a budget for your new company? You're trying to get a marketing budget. What are some of the key things that you look for?
Yeah, well, the marketing budget is very important. When you're starting out, you're not going to have a gigantic marketing budget because you're not going to have a lot of revenue, a lot of profit to actually spend and put back into the business. So that's why some of those low cost things that we kind of touched on a little bit earlier, I think are really great and fantastic. I mean, you do some old school stuff. You got your logos, you got your shirts, you got things you can put on your car like magnets and things like that. You got to make sure you have.
Okay.
I mean, the cost of being an entrepreneur, you always got to be on. So, you got to have your business card.
Yeah, sure.
You got to make sure that you got your marketing materials updated,
Yeah,
whether it be your website, which is a must. You have to have a website.
Sure.
You cannot have a website today and age.
Absolutely.
Most people want to go take a look, what it is that you do, see some samples of your work, go read some online reviews about your business, all those things that most people do nowadays before they actually decide to invest and spend money with your company.
Gotcha.
So those are some of the things that you want to do.
What about communications? Just jump in real quick. Like, should I have my marketing pitch ready? Like,
elevator pitch, you don't have your marketing pitch ready, you're not ready. You're playing the wrong game.
Yeah.
You've always got to be on. And that can be somebody you meet at pumping gas at the gas station. Older lady in the grocery store.
Gotcha.
Somebody that you're holding the door for when you go in Starbucks, whatever it might be.
Gotcha.
Because that you got to remember. When you are an entrepreneur, you are the face of your business.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it doesn't matter if I could throw out a company. If I said Amazon, you know who the CEO is. If I said Facebook, you know who the CEO is. If I said Microsoft, you know who created the company.
Sure.
Like those people may not always have been very comfortable as being the face of the company. Maybe they were more about the sales. Maybe they were more about the code. Maybe they were more about the technology. But they had to become that.
Right.
And that's what you have to do when you become an entrepreneur. You gotta wear it 24/7. You always are on. So everything you do, because like I know, everybody's got a cell phone now, a smartphone. So they're out there, they're videotaping everybody and all your actions. So if they catch you having a bad day,
Catch somebody on the beat down, huh?
Exactly. But hey, you really want to buy from this guy? You just yell at a 16, little 16-year-old girl and cut him off in traffic. You know what I mean? Like those kinds of things. So those things.
Especially with the logo on your car, right?
With the logo on your car, exactly. While you're wearing the shirt and the cap,
So if you're gonna run somebody out the road, take the logo off first, then run them out.
Exactly. You gotta make sure you cover it up or take it off.
And it's funny, you talk about having a business card. The ironic thing is, in this day and age, most people just take the card, take a picture, put it. But as soon as you say you don't have one, people go, because, it's okay, but I'll text it to you. Oh, let me get you, I'll just text it. But when you say you don't have one with you, they go, okay.
It's almost like you're not serious.
Right,
It's almost
exactly.
like, well, this person's playing. Like, or like, we talked about earlier, this person has a hobby.
Yeah,
Right.
They're not really serious about their business.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's funny you guys mentioned that too, because Calvin always gets on me. I don't have my business card sometimes. But we're in the Starbucks. I was talking to another young lady who does interior design, because I try to hook up with other people who do interior design. I'm not afraid to kind of share the wealth. I do like
or network is what
networking. But I was talking to a young lady, Sharita Gray from Gray Spaces. Shout out. She's an interior designer as well. And while we're sitting in the Starbucks having a conversation, there's a young lady listening to our conversation. And when we stopped, she's like, "I want to get your card." Now, she ended up getting her card. I'm still trying to figure out why that happened. But the thing was, someone was listening to the conversation. Right. So we were marketing our business while we were sitting there chatting over coffee. Right. And ultimately got a sale out of it. Right. So, to your point, it's like being on all the time. Yeah. Right?
Well, and I'll be honest. A lot of times I'm in the Home Depot or Lowe's. I don't get much business from it, but people see the shirt and they'll say, "Hey, do you mind answering a question?" Now, I could be like, "Nah," but I do go, "Hey, no problem. And look, here's my card.
Exactly.
Call me if you have any issues."
Sure.
Because even as I meet new clients, I'll say to them, "Look, my estimate may not be where you want it to be, but you go with someone else. Feel free. If there's a problem, give me a call. Ask me a question. Takes no time. Now, if you want me to come by, that's different. But call me with a quick question." So it's one of those things. To your point, like when you're wearing your shirt, your brand, you always got to keep these things in mind constantly. One of my biggest concerns my partner had when we got shirts. She was like, "What if, someone robs a bank in our shirt?" I was like, "If Nike doesn't worry about it, I don't worry about it. I can't control what they do in the shirt."
Right.
That's right. But, hey, maybe it gets me a commercial.
Exactly. Wow.
PDFS group, so.
I didn't even think about that. So, next time I'm robbing a bank, make sure I take my card.
But it's all these things that go through your mind as you think about it. Because, be honest, someone could take your shirt and pretend that they're your business and go out there and do some stuff.
Sure, gotcha.
But, such is life.
Scary times,
You can't worry about it.
Everything, you can't worry about what you cannot control. Right?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Well, that's good. So, I think just to start to wrap it up a little bit, try to figure out, what are some of the things, the top 3 things that you leave our viewers with?
Yeah, absolutely. Top 3 things is just being educated, understanding your business, understanding the target market that you're trying to go after, and being up on current events, being up, like I said, you may not like politics, you may not like the news, but you have to understand these things because these things will often have an impact upon your business. So, you know, recently there's been talks about, you know, having tariffs applied to aluminum and steel.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's going to affect pretty much everything. I mean, from your soda can to a vehicle to, you know, steel beams that you might need for a building, whatever it is.
Okay.
Those prices, those things are going to continue to go up.
Sure.
And it's going to trickle throughout the entire economy, which is going to affect, you know, the cost of your cost of goods. So if you got to buy something that goes into your final product, that's going to be more expensive.
Sure.
So that's going to affect your profit margin. So those things you have to be aware of.
Okay.
You got to look at all those things. You got to make sure from a marketing standpoint that you have a consistent message.
Okay.
And that it's the same across all your platforms.
Okay.
It's got to be the same on the web. It's got to be the same in print. It's got to be the same whether or not you're talking to somebody in Starbucks and just letting them know about your business.
Sure.
You got to be consistent. You got to let them know what you're about, and you just got to make it happen. I mean, biggest thing is understanding who you are, who you're targeting, and how you can get that message on.
Nice. Okay.
I'll just add that, you know, one of the things I was talking about being educated and being up on the current events and the news is that a lot of times that's how you find out what's coming next. I'll never forget, you know, growing up, two of the big companies were Kodak and were Blockbuster Video.
Oh, absolutely.
Kodak,
Everybody remember Blockbuster. Don't front like you know.
Don't forget Arrows neither. Arrows.
Let's go video. That's right.
For Netflix and chill.
Yeah, exactly.
Blockbuster and chill. So I bring up like Kodak specifically because I know that they actually developed the digital technology, but they didn't think that was part of their core business.
Sure.
And they were so focused on, you know, the instant, you know, development of film or having film that you would take to like a, you know, Walgreens or some sort of place like that to get it developed. They were so focused on that they did not think that digital would be a big thing.
Sure.
And then, you know, years later, boom.
Yeah.
That's all people are doing.
Yeah, sure.
And you know, again, they focused on the wrong thing.
Yeah.
So if you're not aware of that, what's coming next?
Right.
Yeah.
You could become that dinosaur.
No, I hear you.
And listen, I remember back in the year 2000, Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix.
Yes. Yes. Great point.
And they didn't want to do it. They thought their idea was a terrible idea. They didn't want it. I mean, you can go back to the 70s where the guy that created Nike, Phil Knight and Bowerman, both of them took their idea to Adidas, and they were like, "What is this? This is a horrible idea." So they went out and started their own company.
Right.
And how that turned out.
Right.
So you always have to be thinking about what's next, and that's how you stay relevant. That's how you stay on top of your game. So you're going to be busy doing the day-to-day of your business, but you cannot neglect finding out what's going on in your market, finding out what's going on in the place that you play, because there's always changes. Especially if you have something that's technology driven, you're going to need to be on the understanding what the cutting edge things are, because that could be the thing that could take you out. So
that's
be one step ahead.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I'm thinking also about Kodak, about Polaroid, right? You know, they're still trying to make a little bit of comeback, but they're trying to, it's instant film now. It's just my opinion, like, what? You know what I mean?
There are people who like that throwback stuff.
Look, I hear you. It's all retro, but then it becomes like a novelty.
Like album sales.
Yeah, you want to be a household name, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
We've seen a lot of things change. You
Yeah,
know, like
absolutely.
from music being sold from
Yeah.
record to a
Yeah.
CD
To
to
8-tracks,
cassettes. But you know what? The one thing we should probably mention too is don't neglect the cycle of things, right? So a lot of that stuff that remember when we were younger, you could buy singles, right, for $1. You can go on iTunes and buy singles right now.
Right.
So I mean, it's like, don't forget that things come back around. You think they're dying, but in some cases they come back around. It's not a novel idea. It's been out before, right? So you should think about that too.
It could have been ignored.
Absolutely.
It's the way you use it, or the delivery of it is what's changed.
Absolutely.
The marketing that's what's changed.
I hear you. So I guess the key aspects to wrap this up is be out there, don't neglect, do your market research, right? Go to Dreams Ice Cream and get some ice cream, and call us up if you need interior design work. You need to build some, or you need a website. But get out there, do your marketing, don't be behind the scenes, be out front.
Right.
Yep. Anything else to say? We out.
So-